The question about Students for Justice in Palestine, an organization that was formed in 1993 at UC Berkeley and currently has 250 chapters, possibly more, in the United States, in Canada, Australia, and other places. SJP is possibly one of the most successful campus organizing since the Vietnam War or the South Africa anti-apartheid period, with students from across the background, ethnic, religious, national, participating in advocating and speaking for the rights of Palestinians. Now, there's been constant attempt at demonization of pro-Palestine activism in the United States and other Western countries. Accusation of all types of demonization, accusation of anti-Semitism, accusation of supporting terrorism. All these have been there for quite some time. But past October 7th, immediately as the event unfolded, we saw the pro-Israel campaign targeting SJP on college campuses and accusing them of being speaking in support of Hamas and support of terrorism. This resulted in Governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, with an executive order shutting down SJP across the state of Florida, followed by Washington University, Brandeis University, Harvard as well targeted both Students for Justice in Palestine and Jewish Voice for Peace, Columbia University, and almost across the board, all university presidents wrote a letter or emails to their students and faculty, in essence expressing, if it's not direct criticism of pro-Palestine activism, it is almost an implicit targeting of individual and labeling all of this as anti-Semitism. Now, the strategy has to be understood. Since Israel's position on college campus is no longer tenable, that Israel has been already understood and really defined as an apartheid state by almost every human rights organization, the Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, the United Nations Human Rights Committee, Adala in Palestine, as well as Israeli human rights organization B'Tselem. So it's almost there's a global consensus that Israel is an apartheid state, including some Israeli politicians themselves. The former speaker of the Knesset, as such, said that Israel is an apartheid state. So Israel's position in terms of trying to argue for what it is doing in Palestine, the building of settlements, the confiscation of land, the shooting of innocent Palestinians. This is even before October 7th. And as Israel unleashed its massive violence on Gaza Strip with bombardments of civilian buildings, of apartments, of hospitals, of schools, restricting access to food, medicines, water, and supply. Therefore, Israel needed a diversion, or pro-Israel needed diversion. So what is better diversion than to make the argument that the organizations that are advocating for Palestinian human rights are in essence are supporter of terrorism. And this has to be understood for a particular reason. Since the United States on October 7th began to use that language, labeling SJP, labeling pro-Palestine activism as terrorism, in essence, in order to try to mobilize the Patriot Act, the anti-terrorism legislation, in particular in relations to material support. In doing so, it would possibly allow the United States, it allow possibly the executive branch, to allow universities, governors to utilize this to shut down and muzzle pro-Palestine activism with this. And many of these cases will end up in court, but it actually will create a number of years until these cases will clear the court, and thus delays the possibility of the critique that has to be rightly done to Israel, and charging Israel with war crimes, with genocide and violence against the Palestinians. So it's actually because of the success that the SJP, because of the success of the pro-Palestine activism, that this strategy is being pursued. As a way to really offset this, what we see is massive turnout for pro-Palestine activism. We are seeing also that people are taking legal measures. Cases from the ACLU and the Center for Constitutional Rights are taking the state of Florida to court. Cases against Columbia University, cases against Harvard University and others, while also the pro-Israel are trying to utilize the Congress hearings to demonize Palestinians. But I think simultaneously massive show of force of people going out to the street and protesting non-stop, not only in the US but across the world, legal suits or legal cases being taken to court, heavy pressure and advocacy in Congress to try to make an impact, as well as the White House, and also engaging in a public relations campaign with billboards, advertisement, New York Times, advertisement that are outreaching and trying to change the narrative. So overall, the attack on SJP is taking place because of success, because students have been able to mobilize, that the Palestine cause have already crossed over beyond the confines of only the Palestinians or Arabs, and have become a major cause of mobilization across society. And I think we are going to see some of that impact down the line, and I'm confident and optimistic, despite the fact that we have a major challenge in taking place in Palestine and Gaza. I'm very optimistic that the Palestine activism on college campuses and in society, in the United States, Western society, and across the world will have an impact.